Raji, member representing a peripheral constituency of Lagos State. I stand to move the motion on call for a phased ban on the importation of fish and fish products into Nigeria. The House notes that the diversification of the economy away from the crude oil through key sectors such as agriculture remains pivotal to the realization of the economic recovery and growth plan of the present administration. Also notes that the fishery subsector, which is a vital component of Nigeria's agriculture and the national economy, accounting for about 4% of the country's gross domestic product, has remained largely underdeveloped despite having the potential to provide cheap sources of protein, income, employment, and foreign exchange. Aware that local production from artisanal fishing, aquaculture, and industrial captures, estimated at about 800,000 metric tons, accounts for only 30% of the total annual fish demand, estimated at 2.7 million metric tons. Also aware that Nigeria has over the years resorted to importation to meet the deficit of about 1.9 million metric tons in domestic fish supply at an estimated cost of $625 million US. In 47,934 square kilometers continental shelf, 853 kilometers of coastline, network of rivers, floodplain, natural and man-made lakes, Nigeria has all it takes to become self-sufficient in fish production and also become a major hub of fish exportation in the West African sub-region. Convinced that the federal government needs to vigorously pursue the goal of self-sufficiency in fish production so as to ensure food security and reserve for export. Resolves to mandate the committees on agricultural production and services and water resources to collaborate with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Nigeria Customs Service, and other stakeholders to develop a policy framework for the implementation of a phased ban on the importation of fish and fish products so as to create an enabling environment for increased private sector investment in the fishery subsector such that Nigeria can become self-sufficient in fish production within a period of 4 years and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
I rise to second the motion ably moved by Hon Raji.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We all know that fish is an important source of protein for human beings. And because of its nutritional value, it is highly recommended as a healthy source of protein for consumption by both young and old. In Nigeria today, the annual demand for fish, as earlier presented in my motion, is estimated at about 2.7 million metric tons. But unfortunately, the local production from all sources is estimated at about 800,000. And this has created a gap and an opportunity, for to promote local production. It is unfortunate that right now we spend a total of $625 million in foreign exchange to import fish into this country. But unfortunately, the quality of fish that we import into this country is questionable. Many of them are rotting. And unfortunately, again, Nigeria has been turned into a dumping ground, for all sorts of fish and fish products. But we can convert this situation to an opportunity to be self-sufficient in fish production. We have what it takes in terms of land area, in terms of coast line, and the beauty of it is that there is no part of Nigeria that we cannot produce fish. We have a teeming population of young men and women in Nigeria that are unemployed today. We can convert this situation to an opportunity to create jobs and also attain food sufficiency in the country. We have done it with rice. Today, some years back, we spent huge sum in foreign exchange in importing rice into this country. But with the determination of the federal government, we are close to self-sufficiency in rice production. We can repeat the same in the area of fish production. And that is why I now call on my colleagues to support this motion that we embark on a phased ban on importation of fish into this country, such that within 4 years, it is possible for us to be self-sufficient in fish production. It is now time for us to continue to look inward in solving our food demand, meeting the demand for food in this country. And if we don't start, we will never get there. And this is the time for us to start. We should produce what we eat and consume what we produce. So, Mr. Speaker, my colleagues, I call on all of you to support this motion in the interest of our country. Thank you, and God bless you.
Amendment say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Those in favor of the motion as amended say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it.